Hello everyone, welcome to session 18 of Selenium training. In today's session, I'm going to continue the control flow statements. As part of control flow statements, I already covered the selection statements in the last session, right? Now, let me explain iterative statements. We are done with the selection statements. Now, let me explain iterative statements. So, what are iterative statements? What are iterative statements? Iterative statements are the statements which execute the same block of code multiple times. Let's say there is some code, okay? This is first line, this is second line, there is some code, 3, 4, 5, 6, or again 7, 8, 9, something like this. Is this. Assume that this is a code, and this is a block of code which need not be executed only once. We need this code to be executed multiple times, guys. This block of code need to be executed, let's say 3 times or 4 times, okay? If we have to execute the same statements multiple times, how is it possible? This is possible with the help of iterative statements. This is possible with the help of iterative statements, guys. Okay? Using iterative statements, we can execute the same block of code multiple times. Okay? Fine. Okay. So, let me let me show you a screenshot. So, in iterative statements, there will be something known as some condition will be there. If the condition is true, the block of code will be executed. And after this block of code get executed, again the control will come to the same condition. Okay. After executing this code, the control will come to the same condition. And again the condition will be rechecked at this point of time. And if it is again true, the same block of code will be executed for the second time. After executing this block of code, again the control will go to the condition. If the condition is again true, then again the same block of code will be executed for the third time. Like this, guys, the same block of code will be executed multiple times until this particular condition is true. What if after executing this 3 or 4 times, the condition becomes false? In that case, guys, it will not execute the block of code. It will go outside. Okay. So until this loop condition is true, this particular block of code will be executed multiple times, guys. Until this is true, it will keep on executing the same block of code, and until this condition becomes false. When it's false, it will skip the block of code and go forward. Okay, this is how the loop conditions will work, guys. Okay, this is how the iterative statements will work. They based on the condition, the block of code will be executed multiple times. Condition is false, then only the block of code execution will stop. Fine. Iterative statements execute the same set of code until the loop condition is satisfied. Okay, until the loop condition is satisfied, the same set of code will be executed. Fine. Different types of iterative statements. The following are the different types of iterative statements, guys. While loop, do while loop, for loop, for each loop. Okay, these are the 4 different type of iterative statements. While loop, do while loop, for loop, for each loop. While everything has its own importance. Okay, out of all these 4 iterative statements, every iterative statement has its own importance, guys. Okay, fine. So, but the purpose is same. All these 4 iterative statements, that is either while loop or do while loop or for loop or for each loop, the purpose is to execute the same set of code until the condition is loop condition is satisfied. Okay, same block of code will be executed multiple times until the loop condition is satisfied. All these four iterative statements will fall under the same purpose, but they function in a different way, guys. Okay, though the purpose is same for these four iterative statements. Okay, though the purpose of these four statement is same, they work in their own way. Okay, they work in their own way. Let's see how while loop will work, do while loop will work, for loop will work, and for each loop will work. Okay, let's start with while loop. The first iterative statement, that is while loop. Let's start with this. While loop executes the same block of code multiple times. While loop executes the same block of code multiple times, that is until the boolean condition turns false. Same thing, guys. The purpose is same. Until the condition is false, the same block of code will be executed multiple times. While loop tests the condition before executing the code in the body. Same thing like this. For example, just see this diagram of how the while loop will work. You'll understand. Here, the program execution flow comes to the while loop. While loop will have a condition, while some condition. So before executing this block of code, the condition will be verified first, like if condition or something like that. Okay, we had some if else if kind of conditions, right? The same type of condition will be there with the while loop also, and based on this condition, this block of code will be executed. So that means that first of all, while loop will validate this condition. If the condition is true, then it will go forward and check the block, execute the block of code. And after executing the block of code again, okay, after executing the block of code, the control will come here. Again, if the condition is true, again it will execute the block of code. And after executing this block of code, again the control will come to this condition, while condition. The condition is again true, it will again go to the block of code, execute the same block of code. So that for the third time executed, right? But after coming here, if the condition turns false, it will go outside. Okay, the loop will be exited only when this particular condition becomes false. Until this condition is false, the loop will keep on executing the while loop will keep on executing the same block of code multiple times. Fine. This is the syntax, guys. Let's see the syntax. While in circular brackets, you need to provide condition. Okay, this is the starting of this while loop, and this is the ending of the while loop. This curly brace is the starting of the while loop. This curly brace is the ending of the while loop. Here condition is between the circular brackets. And in this while loop, this is a block of statements, guys. Okay, this block of code is nothing but this statement 1, statement 2, statement 3 inside this while loop is nothing but this block of code. If this condition is true, this block of code will be executed. After this block of statements got executed, again the control will come to this condition, guys. If the condition is again true, again the same statements will be executed. And again, if the condition is again true, it will keep on executing, guys, until the condition is false. If the condition is false, it will go outside the while loop. Okay, it will go outside the while loop. Okay. Now, guys, fine. That is the syntax of the while loop. Let me demonstrate now. Okay, let me demonstrate how the while loop will work. Demonstrate the while loop when the condition is always true. What if the condition is always true? What will happen, guys? The loop will execute infinite times. I will show you how the things will work out. Okay. So here, let's say if the condition is true, and it's going to be always true, no matter how many times this block of code is executed, the condition is always true. What will happen, guys? The loop will be rotating like this. Okay, infinite. It will not. It's never ending, guys. Okay, infinite means it will never end because the condition is always true. Even after executing this block of code, the condition is true. Again, executing the block of code, again the condition is true. If this particular condition is never going to be false, that means The block of code will be keeping on executing infinite times. It will not going to end, guys. So first of all, I would like to give that example, guys, where the condition is always true. Already opened the Eclipse IDE. Let me delete this. Right click, delete. Right click, guys, new project. So anyone here can say how to create a Java project in Eclipse IDE. Just speak out, guys, any one of you, and I will create in parallel. Yeah, guys, tell me how to create a Java project in Eclipse IDE.
Click on file menu,
Okay,
then go to new,
okay,
and then click on Java project.
yeah, that is a shortcut way, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, Java project.
Here you can write the project name. Click on finish. Yeah. Now we have to add a class.
Under SRC.
Yeah, the
New
class.
class. Yes.
Here we have to write the name of the class.
Okay. Iterative statements.
Click on finish.
Yeah. Fine. That's correct, guys. Okay. So that's a shortcut way you can do. And fine. Now let me create a main method manually. Public static void main string array. This is array, guys. I will explain the array concept afterwards. Args. Everything will be covered. All these things will be covered. Okay. Just for now, blindly write the code. Now, guys, in this main method, I'm going to demonstrate the iterative statements. In this main method, I'm going to demonstrate the main method. Sorry, iterative statement. That is while loop. This is example, guys. A is equal to 6, comma B is equal to 5. A is equal to 6, comma B int A is equal to 6 and B is equal to 5. What is the syntax, guys, of while loop? You can see here, this is the syntax of while loop, right? We have to write like this. While in the circular brackets, we need to put condition, and here the while loop will start, here the while loop will end. In between the statements will be there. So while circular brackets, inside the circular bracket, some condition should be there. This condition should result in a Boolean value. Let's say if I say a greater than B, this is a condition. Okay, a greater than B is a condition. What will happen? A greater than B, 6 greater than 5. True, right? And I will start the while loop here. I will print some. I will write a print statement. System dot out dot println A is greater than B. Okay, A is greater than B. So what will happen, guys? So the programmation will start here. Now A will be assigned with 6 and B will be assigned with 5, and it will go here while 6 is greater than 5. It's true, right? What happens if it is true? When it is true, the block of code inside the while loop will get executed. So it will print A is greater than B here. After that, after this while loop is completed, the control will go to this condition, guys. Okay. After this while loop is completed, again the control will go back to this condition A greater than B. Again 6 is greater than 5. That's correct again. So it will go inside the while loop. So A is greater than B will be printed for the second time. Again it will go here. After this, the condition will be checked again. That is 6 greater than 5. Again it's true. Again it will print. So this happens multiple times, guys. Okay, this happens multiple times. It is not going to end because A greater than B is going to be true every time, right? Even after you executing 1000 times, 2000 times, 10,000 times. Okay, infinite times you can say. Okay, the condition is going to be every time true. It's not going to be false anytime. So this while the program will get stuck here and it will keep on executing. It will not go to the next one, guys. Okay, it will be there itself. Infinite loop. It will go to the infinite loop. So let I have run using this particular class using the Java, right? So let it completely. You see, it's keeping on printing, guys. You can see at the bottom right, A is greater than B is keeping on printing. You see, the scroll bar is going down like anything. It will not stop, guys. It is not going to stop. It went into the infinite loop. So the program will never complete executed. Okay, the program execution will not complete here, guys. It will keep on running. Okay, you see, it's keep on printing a is greater than b, a is greater than b, and infinite times. It's not going to stop. It's not endless. It's kind of endless, guys. So I will forcibly stop this program, guys. Let me terminate it. Now it's stopped. Okay, but the program execution didn't complete. It is resulting in an infinite loop. That's the problem, guys. If the condition is always true, so it will result in infinite loop. The next one, demonstrate the while loop when the condition is false. What if a less than b I put? What will happen when I say instead of a greater than b I put while a less than b? What will happen? A is 6, b is 5, 6 less than b, false. So it will not execute the while loop, right? So even once also the loop will not be executed at least once. Okay, even the loop will not be executed even once, guys. Okay, so it will be skipped for the first time. The condition is false by default. The loop will not, it will not execute the loop body. While loop body will not get executed. Even for the one time also it will not be executed, guys. So you got the blank result because nothing got printed here. Even single time also it didn't get executed because by default the condition is false, so it will not go inside the this particular thing. Next one, loop won't so when the condition is first of all false, the loop won't be executed even at least once. Okay, let me demonstrate a while loop where the condition is initially true and after few iterations it is turned false, guys. Okay, this is the program. Okay, so I will write this again. Inside this main method I am going to write int I is equal to 0 while I less than say 5. Let's say the 3 only, so it will not take much time. So system dot out dot inside the while loop I am writing this print statement, guys. Print ln the value of I is plus I. Okay, so I am concatenating, guys. This concept you will understand later. For now I am concatenating, I am merging. This is a string text and this is a, I am concatenating this string text with the variable value. Now I will say I plus plus. Okay, so here when this program gets executed, what will happen I will let you know. Okay, so it will start from the main method. It will assign the value 0 to the I, so it will go to the while I value is 0, 0 less than 3, 0 less than 3, true or false? True. When it is true, it will go inside the while loop. System dot out dot println the value of I. So this particular string, the value of I is will be printed here with this println statement. Along with that, plus I, along with this text getting printed here, it will also append plus means concatenation operator. Okay, it will combine two string values, guys. Okay, it will combine two string values. Let's say if I have this thing here, let's say the value of value of I is A, B, C, D something I'm writing just for normal purpose. For demonstration, I'm writing this, guys. You see, what will happen is this string and this string will be combined and will be printed, guys. You see, when I run this program, run as, you see, the value of I is A, B, C, D got printed. So what if I don't give this string? I don't want to concatenate two strings. Instead, I want to concatenate one string, and along with that, I want to concatenate this current value of I. I'll say I plus I, guys, plus I. Okay, the value of variable I is a variable here, I am printing the string and concatenating the value of the variable here using plus symbol. Fine. So what will happen in this case? The program execution will start here. I is equal to 0, 0 less than 3, true. System.out.println. The value of I is, what is the current value of I? 0. 0 will be printed. The value of I is equal to 0 will be printed here. After that, I plus plus. You already know about I plus plus, guys. Increment operator. Okay. So I plus plus, current value of I is 0. Plus plus means 0 plus 1. It will be incremented by 1, guys. I plus plus means it will increment by 1. The value of the variable I will be incremented by 1. So it is 0 now. 0 plus 1 is 1. So now when it goes here, the I value is 1. 1 less than 3, true. So again it will go inside the while loop. Second time, guys, this is system.out.println. The value of I is, current value of I is 1, right? So 1 will be printed. Again I plus plus. I plus plus means the value of I will be incremented by 1. So current value of I is 1. So it will become 2. Again it will go to this condition, 2 less than 3. True again. The value of I is 2 will be printed. Now I plus plus, it will become 3. With the value current, the value will be incremented by 1. That is 2 plus 1. That is 3. 3 less than 3. That is false. It will come outside, guys. So this statement will be executed 3 times until the condition gets false. Like this statement will be executed 3 times. The value of I is 0. The value of I is 1. The value of I is 2. Right? Right click, run as Java application. You see the value of I is 0 got printed for the first iteration of this while loop. Second iteration, the value of I is got 1 got printed, and afterwards the value of I is 2 got printed. Okay, this is how the while loop will work, guys. So in this example I showed you, initially the while condition will be true for multiple times. After that, the condition became false, and thereafter it came outside of the loop. When the condition is false, when I became 3, 3 less than 3 is false, it will not execute this block of code of this while loop, guys. Okay, it will come out of this while loop. Fine, fine, guys. Now the second one is do while loop. Okay, do while loop, guys. Do while loop works similar to the while loop, but the block of code will be executed at least once even after the condition is false, guys. Okay, do while loop works similar to the while loop, but the block of code will be executed at least once even after the condition is false. That means if you have seen, when I say, let's go to the previous example, that is a is equal to 6 comma b is equal to 5, and when a is less than b, so what happened in this case, guys? What happened in this case? In the case of while loop, when the condition is initially false, that is 6 less than 5 is false, so it has not executed this particular while loop even once also, right? Even once also this particular while loop didn't get executed. Whereas there is another loop called do while loop, which executes this particular block of code at least once. That is, even after the condition is false, the do while loop will be execute this statement at least once. Only at least once will it will be. Okay, even the condition becomes false for the first time also, this particular block of code inside this while loop will be executed at least once. Okay, let's see how we can do that. So before going to that part, okay, now you understood, right? Do while loop will work similar to the while loop only. Do while loop will work similar to the while loop, but the only difference is that the block of code will be executed at least one even after the condition is false. Even after the condition is false, it will be executed at least once. So in case of while loop, the condition will come first and block of code will be later. In case of while loop, the condition will be verified first and then only the block of code will be executed, right? But what if What will happen in case of do while loop? What will happen in case of do while loop? In do while loop, the condition will come after the block of code. This looks like this. So, of the first the block of code will be executed, then afterwards a condition will be verified. Okay. In case of while loop, the condition was verified first and then the block of code, right? But in do while loop, the first thing is that first block of code will be executed and then it will go to the while condition. If it is true, again the block of code will be executed. Okay, guys. Now, this is a syntax, guys. So this is a syntax of the while loop, while condition statements. But in do while loop, it will start with the do, and then it will start the block of code will start here and it will end here. And you see, while condition came afterwards. While condition is at the end, guys. Here, while condition is at the top. Here at the end. Starting of the do while loop, ending of the do while loop, while condition. While condition will be executed after the statements execution. Here semicolon is there, guys. Okay, you can see the semicolon. According to the syntax, we need to put a semicolon at the end of this do while loop. Let me demonstrate the do while loop, guys. Int a is equal to 6, b is equal to 5. 2. Inside this, I will write system dot out dot println a is 6 and b is 5. Okay. Here I will say while condition a is less than b. Here I need to put a semicolon. Okay. According to syntax, I need to put a semicolon here. So this is the do while loop, do loop syntax, guys. What will happen in this case? Will this print statement executed at least once or not? Here, what's happening here is the statement will be executed at least once, right? Because the condition is there at the end of the statement, right? So the program execution will start here, and A will be assigned with the value 6 and B will be assigned with the value 5. So it will go to the do while loop. In do while loop, it will start here, it will go inside. There's no condition here, guys. So it will execute the system.out.println statement. So A is 6 and B is equal to 5 will be printed here, okay, in the output. And after that, it will go to the while condition. While A less than B, 6 less than B, false, right? So it will not go inside it will not execute this block of code again. Okay, only one time at least once. Even the condition is false for the first time, this particular statement got at least executed once, guys. Okay. Right click run as Java application. You can see that A is 6 and B is 5 got printed here. Okay. This is how the do while loop is different from the while loop. In while loop, if the condition is false, the block of code inside the while loop will not be executed at least once also. But in case of do while loop, even after the condition is false, the loop will be executed at least once. The same rules, guys. The same rules. If I say a greater than b here, it will go to the infinite loop. Okay, because a is 6, b is equal to 5. Do system a is 6 and b is equal to 5 will be printed. After that, it will check the condition. The condition is true. That is 6 greater than 5 is true. So what will happen, guys? If it is true, it will again start the loop. This is starting of the loop. It will again start the loop and it will print a is 6 and b is equal to 5 will be printed for second time. Again, it will come to the while condition. Again, a greater than b, 6 greater than 5 is again true. It keeps on executing, guys. There is no end. This will execute infinite times. Right click run as Java application. You see that. So it's getting infinite times, similar to the while loop. Okay. Only the difference is that the condition is there at the end. Manually, I need to stop that. So what if this do while loop will be executed few times? Okay, how to do that? Here I'll say value of I is plus I. Okay. Okay, currently the value of I is 0, guys. So For the first time, it will go directly go into the do loop and it will print the value of I is 0. Okay. Again, while a greater than b. Sorry, remove this and write while I less than 3. Okay, same example I am taking, which I took for the while loop. Then say I plus plus. Inside the do while loop, I need to write I plus plus. I plus plus means it will increment the value of the value by 1, right? So the program execution will start here. I is equal to 0. System dot out dot println, the value of I is 0 will be printed. I plus plus, the value of I will be incremented by 1. 0 plus 1, 1. It will be 1, guys. While I less than 3, 1 less than 3, again true. It's true, right? So it will go to the do. We'll start from here again. Again, this time the value of I is 1 will be printed. 1 less than 3, again true. Value of, sorry, I plus plus will become 2. 2 less than 3, correct. So it will, the value of I is 2 will be printed. I plus plus 3. 3 less than 3 is false. So it will come out of the while loop. Right, run as. You will get the same output, guys, that you got for the while loop. Only difference is that the condition will be there at the end. So at least once this particular statement will be executed. The block of code inside this do while loop will be executed even at least once. Okay. Whereas in while loop, the condition is false for the first time, then it will not touch the block of code. It will not execute the block of code. This is how you can iterate the same block of code multiple times using the loops. Okay. Iterative statements. Now let's move to, guys, is it clear so far? Is it clear, guys, so far?
Yes, Arun.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Right. So let me go to the for loop. For loop is the most commonly used loop in Java. Okay. So out of all the loops, that is while loop, do while loop, for each loop. Okay. Not okay. There is a reason like where you have to use for loop or for each. They both are same, guys. Assume that for some time, assume that for loop and for each loop belong to the same family. Okay. When compared to while loop or do while loop, for loop is more popular, guys. Okay. Is mostly used loop. Many people use for loop, guys. Okay. Where exactly is a for loop applicable and where exactly is a while loop applicable? If you know the number of iterations in advance, okay, this kind of situations, guys, you know that while I less than 3, you already know how many iterations this particular loop should iterate. In such cases only you have to go with for loop, guys. Okay. If you already know how many times the same block of code need to be executed, okay, then you have to blindly go with the for loop, guys. Okay. But if you are not clear how many iterations it will take for the condition to get false, if it is not clear, then you have to go with the while loop. Okay. So if you are not clear, based on some situation you want to end the loop, in that case you have to go with the while loop. But if you already know in advance how many iterations it should iterate 5 times, 6 times, based on that you will go with the for loop. Okay. If you don't have any clarity on the number of iterations that it will take, the program will take to iterate. Okay. If you don't know in advance, in that case you have to go with while loop. If you already know in advance this kind of things, like I know that I should be less than 3, I know that how many iterations it will take, in this case you have to should not use while loop or do while loop, guys. In this case you have to go with the for loop. So for loop is the most commonly used and used only when the number of iterations are known in advance, right? Now for loop executes the same block of code multiple times. Same purpose, guys. While loop, do while loop, for loop, all belongs to same purpose. Their purpose is to execute the same block of code multiple times until the condition becomes false. The same rule. Only the way of working is different. Okay. Though while loop and for loop work in similar manner, while loop is preferred over for loop when we don't know the number of iterations in advance. When you have to go with for loop and when you have to go with while loop, guys. Anyone, guys. When you have to go with for loop and when you have to go with while loop. Anyone, guys.
When you know the number of iterations in advance is used for loop.
So
And
when
then
you know the number of iterations in advance, which loop you need to go? While loop or for loop?
for loop,
Yes. But what if you don't know the number of iterations in advance? Which loop you are going to go?
while loop.
Yeah, that's correct. So keep that in mind. For practical example of this, the difference between while loop and for loop, right? I will be taking that in the future sessions when I explain you about some commands of the Selenium, right? I will show you like where exactly how to use the for loop or where exactly you have to use the while loop. Okay. For now, stick that thinking to the definition only. That is, in case of for loop, we need to know the number of iterations in advance. In case of while loop, uh, we need to be used when the number of iterations in advance are not known. Okay, we don't know at what point of time the condition will become false. In for loop, we need to know in advance at what point of time the condition is going to become false. Okay, fine. So let me go through an exam diagram. So it will also look similar to while loop only, guys. Only the difference I told you is the one. Okay, for instead of while we'll have for. Here the condition is there. The condition is true, it will execute the block of code and it will again come to the same condition. If the condition is again true, it will again execute the same block of code second time, and like that it will execute the same block of code multiple times, guys. Okay, many number of times. If the condition becomes false, it will come out of this loop. Same manner while loop. Only some differences where you have to use for loop is that you need to know the number of iterations in advance. If not, you have to go with the while loop. Syntax for for initialization section. In for loop, just understand, guys, in the for loop, there is no just condition, guys. Okay, there are many things. Apart from the condition, we have initialization section is there, increment or decrement section is there, this condition section is there. For of condition, along with the condition, we have other two parameters. One is initialization section, and another one is the increment or decrement section. In between, we have the condition section. So this is the same block of code. I will explain you guys. Practically, I will explain how the things work out. Okay, be with me. So let me write down the while loop work. I'll convert the while loop into for loop. Okay, it has its own advantages. While I less than 3, this is the code we have written right earlier for while loop. I will convert this program into the for loop, guys. Okay, after some time. Here I'll write system dot out dot println the value of I is plus I. Okay. Here I'll increment the value of I. What will happen, guys? When I run this program, what will happen? It will print the value of I is 0, the value of I is 1, and the value of I is 2, right? Okay. The value of I is 0, value of I is 1, the value of I is 2. Now, guys, let me convert this into the for loop. Okay. So int I is equal to 0 is there. Here instead of while, I will convert this into for. Okay. This is a condition, right? So before the condition, put a semicolon, and after the condition, also put a semicolon. Okay. Done. And remove this part. Okay. Cut this part. Int I is equal to 0. Cut it and paste it here. Int I is equal to 0. Cut and paste into this for loop. Now we have one more thing. That is this I plus plus. Cut this. Okay. Cut this I plus plus and paste here. Remove this part. This is for loop, guys. Simple. Okay. In for loop, initialization, condition, and increment or decrement thing will be in the same loop, guys. Okay. In while loop, only condition will be there, but in for loop, everything can be kept along with the condition only. So condition will come in between, whereas initialization will come here and increment or decrement will come here. So let's see how the program will get executed, guys. Simple, guys. So everything is there inside this for loop, and only the print statement, the value of I is 1, need to be printed, right? So the program execution will start here. For int I is equal to 0, 0 less than 3, true, right? So just observe, guys, how the program is getting executed. It's been a tricky thing. So better focus more here. The program execution will start here. After starting here, it will go to this for loop. So for int I is equal to 0, the value of I is 0 now, initialized to 0 now. This initialization part, guys. This is the initialization part of for loop. So here the value of I got incremented, a value of I got assigned with initialized with 0, right? Initialized with 0. Now, second thing is that after this initialization is done, it will go to the condition. That is, the current value of I is already initialized to 0 here. So 0 less than 3, true or false? True, right? If it is true, it will directly go into the for loop base. Okay, system.out.println and the value of I is 0 will be printed. After that, the for loop will stop here and it will go to this increment first. Okay, after the for loop got executed, it will go to the increment part I plus plus. So here I will become from 0, it will be incremented by 1, that is 1. I will become 1. Again, after this one is done, this condition will be verified, that is 1 less than 3, true again. Again, it will go inside the for loop. The value of I is 1 will be printed, right? After that, again the incrementation part, 2, I will become 2. 2 less than 3 is true. Again, the value of I is 2 will be printed. Again, it will go to I plus plus. The value of I will become 3. 3 less than 3 is false. It will come outside the for loop. This is how the for loop will be used. This is how the for loop need to be used, guys. Okay. Initialization, condition, and increment or decrement will be in the same for circular brackets. So here the loop is getting executed. The loop will get executed until the condition becomes false, right? When I becomes 3, 3 less than 3 will be false. Then it will come out of the for loop. Let's see. Right click, run as Java application. See the same output you got. This is how the for loop will work, guys. This is how the for loop will work. Now let's move to the next loop, that is for each loop. I'm not going to explain for each loop in this session, guys. Okay, I'll explain this afterwards. Once I am done with the arrays and collections concept, I will explain the for each loop. Till then, I will not explain the for each loop, guys. Though for each loop belongs to this iterative statements, I will explain only after explaining this arrays and collections, guys. Fine. Now, guys, transfer statements. So is it clear, guys? For loop, is it clear, guys? Any questions in for loop? Is it clear?
No, Arun.
Okay. Let me move to the next control flow statements. The third set of. So far, I explained how many control flow statements, guys. Let's recap. One is flow control statements, right? This is the topic. And under that, we have selection statements. As part of selection statements, we have if else, okay. Then if, else if, else, then switch. These are all the things I explained as part of selection. Now coming to the iterative statements, we have while loop, do while loop, for loop, for each loop, right? For loop and for each loop. These are the 4 iterative statements. Now I am going to explain the third type of iterative flow control statements that are under flow control statements. We have the third category, that is transfer statements. Transfer statements. So guys, What are the different transfer statements we have? But before going to the different transfer statements, let's first understand what actually the transfer statements are. Transfer statements are used to transfer the flow of execution from one block of code to a different block of code. Okay. Transfer statements are used to transfer the flow of execution from one block of the code to a different block of code. If you are inside a loop or something like that, and if you want to go to a different block outside that particular loop, then you have to go with the transfer statements. You'll understand this statement after going through the examples, guys. For now, just simply blindly follow the examples. So, what are the different type of transfer statements? Transfer statements can be classified into break, continue, return, try, catch, finally. Break, continue. Third one, return. All these things will be explained, guys. Okay. Break, continue, return, everything will be explained. And then try, catch, finally. This many are the transfer statements. All the statements are the transfer statements. Break, continue, return, try, catch, finally are the transfer statements. Let's start with the break statement, guys. How the break can be used. The purpose of the break statement is to come out of the statements, guys. Based on some condition, we need to come out of the loop or something like that. Okay. Based on the condition, we need to come out of the loop. Okay, let me demonstrate, guys. It will be clear after the demonstration. These explanations and all those things will be clear only after the practical demonstration of the break transfer statements. So this is a code. You can also get this code, guys, after these sessions. Okay. So based on some condition, based on the value of I want to break it, guys. Okay. So let me write a program first using for loop. Already there. Here I'll write 5 or something like that. And here I will put a if condition. If I is equal to 3. If I double equal to, that is I value of I will be compared with this 3, guys. Okay. If it is, you already know about this operator, right? I is equal to 3. I will be compared with the value of I will be compared with the value of this 3, guys. Okay. So let's start the execution process, guys, so that you will understand. And if it is 3, then I want to break it. What will happen if I put a break statement? Simply it's inside the if condition, guys. Like this. If I is equal to 3, then break the loop. Okay. If I is equal to 3, then break the loop, guys. Okay. Fine. Let me demonstrate how the program execution will start. It will start from the main method. So int I is equal to 0. The value of I is currently 0. If 0 less than 5, true or false? False, right? Sorry, 0 less than 5 is true. Here I is equal to 0, 0 less than 5 is true. So it will go inside the for loop. Now 0 is equal to 3. True or false? False. It will not go inside the if condition. If condition is there inside the for loop, guys. Okay. So 0 is not equal to 3. So it will skip the break statement. It will not execute for the first time. Now to print the value of I is 0. After that, it will come here I plus plus. The value of I became 1. Now it will verify the condition 1 less than 5. True or false? True. So it will come inside. If 1 is equal to 3, again not matching, the break statement will not get executed. Now the value of I is 1 will be printed. Now after this, the control will go to the I plus plus, that is 2. 2 less than 5. True again. No, right? It will skip. 2 is not equal to 3. So it will skip the break statement. It will just print the value of I is 2 and then it will close. Again, I became 3 here. Right? 2 plus 1, 3. 3 less than 5. True again. Again break state. So 3 less than 5 is true. It will go inside the for loop. And here the condition is if 3 equal to 3. It's matching, right? So break. Break means come out of the for loop completely. Okay. So only up to I is equal to 2, it will get executed, guys. 0, 1, 2 will be the output. Right click run as Java application. Sorry. Right click run as Java application. You see the same output here. So when this condition becomes true, it will break the loop. Okay, it will come outside of the loop. Based on the condition, it will come out of the loop, guys. Now, next only one thing is left, guys. After this, we'll close today's session. Okay, we can start fresh with methods from tomorrow. So next statement is continue. So continue is also similar to break, guys. Break will completely stop the for loop. Here you see there is more chance for I is equal to 4 and 5, right? There is more chance for I is equal to 4 and 5. But what happened? I breaked it. So I forcibly stopped it. That means 3 is equal to 3 is true. After that, you should not actually use a for loop kind of thing. You have to come outside of the for loop. So break will take you out of this for loop, guys. The for loop has started here and ended here. When the break executed is encountered, so when the condition is true and break got encountered, it will come out of the for loop. Okay, even though I can be 4 and 5, still it will come out the for loop. Now, guys, continue. There's another transfer statement called continue, guys. Simply we can replace break with continue, guys. Nothing more than that. Okay, continue. So there is slight difference between break and continue. Okay, what is the difference between break and continue? When the condition is true, this particular loop will skip only this iteration. Okay, when this particular condition is true, this continue statement will only skip the current iteration. From next iterations, again it will be as usual. Let's see. Right click run as Java application. You see what happened? The value of I is 0, 1, 2, 4. Right? So 3 got skipped, guys. When 3 is equal to 3, the current iteration will be skipped, guys, but the remaining 4 and 5, everything will get printed. If I say 10, it will go up to 10 also. Okay, right click run as Java application. You see, value of I is equal to 0, 1, 2. After that, 3 is not there. Again, 4 to 9. Right? This is how the things will work out. Continue will only skip the current iteration. In many interviews, people will be asking you like, what is the difference between the break and continue? Anyone guys? Can anyone explain from your version? Any version of yours can be fine. Just speak out, guys. What is the difference between break and continue? After this demonstration, what do you feel?
So when you use a break statement inside a loop,
Okay.
it terminates from the loop and it doesn't print statements after that. I mean, it doesn't stay in the loop anymore. But when you use the
So you mean to
continue,
say that it will completely terminate the loop, right? Whatever the loop it is there, it will completely terminate the loop, right?
yeah.
What about the continue then?
So continue, what it does is like for the particular condition given, it just skips that particular condition for that moment and then it continues for the rest.
Okay, yes, right. So when this condition is true, then when it interfaces continue, it will not execute the rest of the code in this block, guys. It will simply skip this current iteration and it will go for the next iteration. Okay, that is I is equal to 3 is so when I is equal to 3, 3 is equal to 3 will continue, right? So after that, it will not print the value of I is equal to 3 here. You see 0, 1, 2 got printed. So later, again it will not stop the for loop completely, guys. Continue statement will not stop the for loop completely. Instead, what it will do is only it will skip the when the condition is true. That is, if I 3 is equal to 3 is true, so continue. That means from here the control will go to I plus plus, guys. From continue, the control will go to I plus plus. Whereas in case of break, it will not go to anywhere. It will come outside of this complete for loop. Okay. In case of continue, the control will go here, from here directly to here. So when the I will become 4 less than 10 is again true. So it will, the value of I is 4 will be printed. Afterwards, this is the same thing, guys. Until all the values got printed, this will be the same case. Fine. So only the matching condition will be skipped. You remember this continue, this break statement we have used. Okay, not continue. For break statement we have used in switch case. Now you will understand why we have used break statement in the switch case. To completely come outside of the switch case, we have used break statement. So here, guys, what I am saying is, in selection statement there was switch selection statements, right? I demonstrated to you. So here also we were using that break statement, right? So the reason behind that is, whenever someone comes across the break statement, it will skip the complete body. Okay, skip the complete body. It may be loop or switch case or anything. It will come out of those things. Fine. That's about the break and continue statements. Coming to the return, I will explain the return later, guys. After explaining this methods concept, I will explain the return statement, and after explaining, and what about the try catch finally? So I will explain this try catch finally as part of the exception handling, and I will explain return as part of the methods. Okay. With methods, I will explain the returns, and after explaining the methods, I will explain the returns, and after explaining exception handling, I will explain try catch finally. Okay. So few more things for control flow. One more session is pending for this control statements, where I will be explaining. Sorry. What I meant to say is, there are few things left, right? If you see in this diagram, so in selection statements, I covered all the things. That is, if else, and switch. I covered everything. So all these things are covered as part of selection statements. Coming to iterative statement, this is pending. This will be explained after arrays concept. Okay. After explaining the arrays concept, or during the arrays concept explanation, I will be explaining the for each loop. So far, I explained only while, do while, and for loop. And coming to the transfer statements, I explained break and continue. But coming to this return and try catch finally, I will be explaining later, guys. Okay. So return will be explained as part of the methods functionality, and try catch finally I will be explaining as part of the exception handling functionality. Okay. So only these three things are left, guys. For each loop, return, try catch finally. I will be we are done with the flow control structure. These things will be explained in the upcoming sessions when I deal with either arrays, methods, and exception handling. Okay. So from in the next session, I will be taking care of the methods, guys. Okay. I'll be taking care of methods in the next session. That's about the different flow control structures.